Hello everyone and welcome to Fylde College JCR Hustings. I'm Dan, I'm one of the assistant deans at Fylde. Usually a member of the JCR would host this event, but most of them are rerunning, so I've been dragged into it. If anything goes wrong, it's all on me. So, quick introduction, what is Hustings? Hustings can be defined as a place where political campaign speeches are made. So how will tonight work? What we'll have is each candidate will have 3 minutes to briefly talk about what their aims and goals are for the JCR. Then questions to the candidates can be asked from the chair and audience using the Q&A function in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Candidates have roughly a minute to answer. These must be directed at all candidates running for that position. They cannot be targeted to one person specifically. So this is going to be the candidate running order for tonight. So we've got sports officers at first, then comms and publicity, international officer, welfare, socials and events, VP socials and events, and followed by the president. As you probably noticed from that list, we do have some unfilled positions today. So we've had no nominations for the two roles below. We've got no nominations for VP welfare and no nominations for democracy and finance. And if you keep an eye out on our social media, we'll be looking to fill those positions in the future. So yeah, let's get to it. So we've got two nominees for sports officer. We've got Camille and we've got Abby. Camille is going to go first, and Abby unfortunately isn't able to make it today, so I'll be reading out her host on her behalf. Are you ready, Camille?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Give me one second. And there you go.
So hi, I'm Camille. I'm your current sports officer. So I'm running for the JCR as I have enjoyed being part of the JCR, and I like the environment between the members currently. I also study sports science, so have an interest in playing and organising events. Last year I worked with the county sports officers to create a sports competition between Fylde and county. However, due to Corona, we couldn't go ahead with it. Therefore, this year I would like to follow through with the plans that we created last year for the cup called Legends, which is between Fylde and county. I would also hopefully like to create some small events in Fylde College, such as taster sessions. We'll be working alongside societies to include these taster sessions. And also I would like to support the current college teams with any help they would need, and we will be working alongside the captains to see what we can do to improve. And lastly, we're trying to create a rugby league for colleges, which has been successful last year, and hopefully we can make it official this year. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Camille. So as I said, Abby is unable to make it today, so I am just going to read out what she said for you all. There we go. It says, "Hi, I am Abby and I'm a second year biomedical science student running for the role of sports officer of Fylde JCR. I'm enthusiastic about all areas of sports and would love to be able to contribute to this aspect of the college. I'm a member of the university badminton team and I am a very active person, so I feel I would be great in this role by bringing knowledge and experience. I would like to continue the engagement and encouragement in the college sports that we currently have in place, with the idea to try to expand the opportunities available to us students. I feel that exercise and sports are vital to our well-being, both mentally and physically, and so should be a priority when looking at how to improve college life." So yeah, that's what Abby said. What we're going to jump to now is a Q&A for both these candidates. So if anyone has any questions for Camille and Abby, feel free to stick them in the live event Q&A. If not, I'll try and think of some questions for Camille. All right, I don't see any questions as of yet. So, Camille, what do you think the most important part of being a sports officer is?
I think it's understanding how the college is doing in terms of sport. So, for example, last year the Fylde B team were doing very well, so we were trying to promote that. They won their league. The netball team did very well, so it's working alongside the captains and making sure that they have everything. So like resources such as footballs, etc., kits, just making sure the college is running smoothly in terms of sport. Especially Fylde is a very sporty college, and also to create events for Fylde students so they can stay fit and active.
Excellent. Thank you, Camille. That sounds like really, really good stuff. So, is there any other questions? I'll give it a few seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next role and we'll keep pushing through them. Nope. Okay, we will move on to the next role in that case. Thank you, Camille, and thank you, Abby, for sending in your hustings for me to read. So the next role we have up is comms and publicity. So if comms and publicity could get ready to go live. So I forgot to explain what the sports officer does. Meant to mention they sort of organise college sports, but Camille and Abby between them have given a really good representation. But comms and publicity, their job is to promote the college on social media and sort of, you know, keep getting posts out, spreading campaigns, that kind of thing. So yeah, we've got 3 candidates for this position. Erin's going to talk first, then Katrina, and then Charlotte. So Erin, are you ready to go?
Yep.
Excellent. Off you go.
Hi everyone. So my name's Erin. I'm a 3rd year history and politics student, and I'm currently on the JCR as president. I've enjoyed my time on the JCR so much this year that I want to do my part again for the remainder of my time at Lancaster Uni, and I want to try a new role, try some new things out. So if you've been following my campaign page or follow me on any social media, you've seen I've put out my promises, my 4 main promises, if I'm elected as one of your comms and publicity officers. So the first one is to revamp the college pages. I want to renovate them, improve them as much as I can, update our bios. Having a look at our Instagram, we're still sticking with the stigma and the stereotype that Fylde as a sporty college, and I really do think we need to break away from that, because that's not what college life is all about. We're a community for everyone. Secondly, I want to stay connected. COVID has made comms and publicity, especially communication, more important than ever. And I want to make sure communications from the college to members of the college is as friendly and as easy as possible. Thirdly, I want to improve accessibility. So use media that doesn't exclude people. Not everyone has social media. So I know from the team this year, they've been doing stuff on Teams and on Zoom and through emails, but even just posters still, because obviously people still live on campus, people are out and about. I'd also like to work with full-time officers and part-time officers in the Student Union to get training and to understand better ways to make posts more inclusive and accessible for everyone. So I know Molly Dawson, who is one of the PTOs, she did something this year about image descriptions and alt text for people who have visual impairments. And my final promise is I will maintain post quality. So keep everything updated, maintain it throughout the course of the year, and to sort of create a theme that will go with everything on the college pages. So I had a look quickly over the bylaws, and I promised that I will upkeep notices for the college, will work with fellow officers to get campaigns out, and will maintain the public image of Fylde. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Erin. So I think we have Katrina up next. Katrina, are you ready? If you got your mic and camera ready?
Yep.
Excellent stuff. So you're on now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So my name's Katrina and I'm a 2nd year law student. So I've already witnessed in my 1st year kind of the importance of the JCR and the positive effects that the JCR can have on student well-being. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about what I would bring to the JCR. So before university, I was head of communications and events at my high school. So I worked with charities and local businesses to give talks and hold informative conversations about local and worldwide issues. Within this role, I also organised and promoted our yearly fundraiser. and was responsible for distributing follow-up information post these discussions. So I learned a lot of skills in this role that I believe are quite transferable in terms of communication, organisational skills, to hopefully ensure the smooth running of the publicity of the college if I was elected. So secondly, I wanted to talk about my plan going forward if elected. So my primary goal would be to improve Fylde's social outreach. During the pandemic, I'm sure I'm not the only person to have witnessed the extreme impact social media has on our lives, from funny videos to worldwide protests. This year in particular, we've seen firsthand the power that social media has as a voice for our generation. So taking this into account, I think it's extremely important for us as a college to focus on using Fylde's social platforms to communicate key information effectively. In particular, my focus will be on increasing publicity on worldwide issues and increasing advertisement of events within Fylde College to hopefully improve participation. I believe this is really important, as this year students have had an even more difficult time making friends and feeling at home within the college. So I think publicity of events tailored through social media to their wants and needs would both improve Fylde's outreach and strengthen lines of communication between students and the college, thereby hopefully making the college feel like a safe space where students of all walks of life feel represented within the publicity. So how would I do this? I believe the key ways to improve our social outreach are interactivity and accessibility. So easily accessible pages with interactive options such as polls and questions would encourage students to get more involved and have their own say within the college, which would hopefully boost engagement and allow students to feel seen and heard by the college that represents them. Alongside this, something I'd really want to do would have more drop-in sessions for students to discuss issues that they feel deserve more representation and recognition, whether this be within the university or maybe more globally. I believe this is a really good way for us all to stay as educated as possible and not let issues that may plague others that we haven't thought about fall through cracks, thereby hopefully increasing student satisfaction. So taking all this into account, I hope that I can count on your vote for Communications and Publicity Officer this year. I think you're muted, Dan.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Every time. Thank you very much, Katrina. Next and finally, we have Charlotte. Are you ready to go, Charlotte?
Yep. Can you see me, hear me, maybe?
Yep, that's perfect. Ready when you are.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a second-year business management student running for Communications Publicity Officer. I think my past experiences have fully qualified me for this role. I've had over 6 years of volunteering experience within different charities, different organizational groups. I help run a football tournament in my town every year, which has over 12,000 children. So I think all these experiences combined have allowed me to develop my communication skills in person and online, and I hope to bring that to Fylde. My main plans for myself in this role would be to team up with the welfare and international officers and try and find a way to be more inclusive and transparent to the rest of the college. I think it's really important, as other candidates have said, especially during COVID, that we keep in contact, keep people up to date and make people feel at home. After all, university is a big life-changing experience, and college life does change a person. Fylde is for life. So I think the college experience is super, super important in making sure everybody has a good university experience. I would like to do this, and alongside with the welfare and international officers, by perhaps making, I know last year in person we had a couple of pub quizzes. I would like to try and encourage us to do these online, use the social media platforms to keep people up to date, maybe with university news, a little bit more interaction perhaps with the pages. Like other candidates have said, opinion polls, I think it'd be fabulous. I also really enjoyed the pages Ready, Steady, Cook over quarantine, and that was super entertaining, and I think it'd be really good for us to carry on doing that maybe a little bit more frequently, just to help the first years that are feeling perhaps a little bit out of their depth. Other aims and goals for myself and for the college is to encourage people to feel what I feel about Fylde. I'm a member of the Fylde netball team, and over the last year they have become my family away from home, and I think there are lots of opportunities within the college for everybody to feel like this. And maybe people aren't as aware. I think some of the media we use perhaps is a little bit slow. Perhaps last year I wasn't aware of a lot of things that were going on until it was too late, just because I didn't see the media. It wasn't due to a lack of following the pages. It just wasn't something that came up. So maybe I think we need to be a little more proactive with the already established channels, because they do work. I think we can improve them. I have software experience in things like Canva, Publisher, Photoshop. So everything that comes into creating the publicity and the advertisement. I actually spoke briefly in my manifesto about how I think that advertisement and marketing is the forefront of any organization. As a management student and a marketing student, I fully understand the impact of marketing and advertising and the statistical and technological sides of this.
Are you okay to wrap up for me there?
Yeah, of course, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just want to bring everything that I can, hopefully, to Fylde. So thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry for droning on.
No, it's all right. Thank you. So I'm going to open questions up now for Erin, Katrina, and Charlotte. If anyone has any questions now, they can use the Q&A function to ask those questions. If not, I'm afraid you're going to be subject to my questions again. So I'll give it a few seconds, and then I've got 2 questions in mind for you all. So if you could just answer them in that same order again. So what was it? Erin, Katrina, then Charlotte. Okay, so I'm going to go with my questions. My first question to you all is, how am I going to phrase it? So accessibility seems to be quite a big theme here. What about accessing students who aren't on social media so much? How would you go about that? So I'm just going to send Erin live now.
I think there's quite, as we've seen this year, especially with participation, not many people have come to things, and maybe that is because they don't have social media. So I definitely think maybe through emails, through the college, like the official college email account and stuff like that way. Same with posters. There's notice boards in every house. So hopefully, COVID permitting everything, we can still put posters up or drop them off. Yeah, that's what I would do. You're muted, Dan, I think.
Excellent. Sorry, did it again. Excellent. Now, Katrina, how would you go about that? Making things accessible for people who don't have social media.
Yeah, so I kind of just expand really on what Erin was saying. So obviously, definitely, I think email is a really important thing. Obviously, especially with things being online, I feel like now more than ever, people are using their email a lot, checking their email regularly. So I think that's a really good way to kind of get in contact with people that don't use social media a lot. I know last year the JCR came around a lot to our flats and kind of dropped off things and information. So I think, you know, things like that are a really good way. When you've got something visual in front of you, it's kind of harder to ignore than maybe just a story on Instagram that you can skip through. So I think if you don't use social media, things like email and things like posters and just in more physical things that you can have, you know, pin up and whatever to remember to attend things or maybe research things more is probably the most productive way if you don't use it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And finally, Charlotte, how would you make social media, or sort of what Fylde says, accessible to people who don't use social media so much?
I think Erin and Katrina have pretty much covered it. I'd like to use the educational channels more, maybe try and use Teams. Again, everybody said email. I personally last year didn't check email at all, but obviously this year with everything being online, it's quite a predominant feature of my life at the minute. But maybe we could find a way to talk to lecturers. There's always slides at the beginning of a lecture with random things on from the uni about not feeding ducks. So maybe we could try and find a slide and put something in there just to keep it on people's minds.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. All great answers. Okay, my next question, or my final question for you guys, if anyone has any more, please just stick them in the Q&A and we'll get around to them. But my final question for you guys, just let me think about what I was going to ask again. So can you tell me what you think's been the worst part of Fylde social media and what you do to change that if you were elected? So we'll start with Erin again. There we go.
Personally, I think it's the interaction with posts. Some weeks we can have loads of interaction. Other weeks we can have about boosting that out there, like Charlotte and Kat said, and ways to reach out to people. And I think that's been the main issue at least this past year. I know when I was a fresher, I was very much on it and looking at the college page. I don't know if that's just because I'm a bit of a keno and don't think everyone's like that. But yeah, I think that's been the main issue we've had this year and the main problem. So hopefully we can get that sorted.
Great, thank you, Erin. So Katrina, same question to you. So yeah, what's the worst thing that you think about Fylde social media, and how would you improve it if you were elected?
Yeah, so I actually think Fylde social media was handled really well in first year. I think it was super interactive, but what I would say isn't so much about their posts, but rather the Fylde social media channels as a whole. I know when I did freshers repping and I was talking to my freshers in my meeting, I said to them, I was like, do you follow the pages on Instagram and things like that? And they kind of had no idea that that really was a thing. So I think by talking about the platforms that we actually have, improving, you know, how much we talk about them, then people are more likely to use them, and thus engagement's going to improve and people are going to be more interactive in the posts, like Erin was saying. So I think that's what I would focus on, is actually just letting people know we have these platforms available for them to go and look at and use.
Okay, thank you. And finally, I'm going to pose the same question to you, Charlotte. So yeah, what do you think has been the worst thing about Fylde social media, and how would you improve it?
I think calling it the worst thing isn't fab, maybe the least effective out of it all. But I think similarly to Erin about interaction, but I think perhaps we can make more interactive posts. So on the Instagram stories, for example, on Facebook stories, create opinion polls, create like a random quiz question, question of the day, like a fact of the day kind of question, just to keep people interested, up to date, on top of everything. And I think that small increase in interaction will maybe lead more people to the page.
Okay, thank you. That's great. If anyone has any more questions for the social media candidates, please ask away. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next candidate. So moving on to the international officer, we have one person, excluding reopened nominations, running for international officer, Maria. So the job of the internationals officer is to basically engage with international students and national students, help the welfare team with campaigns, run their own campaigns. It's a very broad role, actually, in many ways. So are you ready, Maria?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. You're live now.
Okay. Hey everyone, my name's Maria and I'm a second-year biological sciences student, and I want to be your international officer. Having already been part of this year's JCR as Democracy and Finance Officer, I want to continue to improve our close-knit community. I have a lot of experience working with people with diverse backgrounds, as I was the chair for the MUN, and I can manage my time really well as I was editor-in-chief of my school's newspaper. During my duration as international officer, I plan on having a lot of different campaigns to target a lot of different fields, including stress, representation, and combating racism and xenophobia, particularly in regards to COVID. I plan on having a lot more open talks with the VP Welfare and BAME officer to help identify problems that are particularly in effect for international students, like visa applications, and further establish the already existing resources that we have and bring attention to those. Every student goes through periods of stress and feeling alone, and I think working with the welfare team and the comms and publicity officer, we could run a really successful campaign to show people different kind of resources and maybe like grounding techniques and mindfulness to improve people's overall mental well-being. It can be really difficult for international students going to university and being accustomed to a completely different new country, and I want to ease that transition into uni life. People remember their uni years fondly, and the college experience is massive. So I want to be part of the experience and make people feel included and part of a very welcoming community, and that is what I think Fylde College is. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you, Maria. So again, the floor is open to questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in the Q&A chat. Otherwise, I do have a question in mind for Maria. My original question was going to be, what sort of campaigns are you going to run? But that seems to have been answered already by Maria. So yeah, I'll ask this question now. So how do you think you'd run one of your campaigns in a COVID environment if we were still having to be restricted by if we still had these restrictions in place?
So I think using our social media and the posters that we already have would be the ideal thing to do. Everyone has access to the internet, and with all the poster boards around, it's kind of hard to miss notifications and stuff like that. So I would really be relying on the comms and publicities to like help me out and make those social media posts, and again making those posters available on the notice boards and our Facebook pages and everything like that.
Thank you very much, Maria. So does anyone else have any other questions for Maria? Okay, I will move on to the next role in that case. So the next role we've got up is for welfare officer. So their role within the college is to run welfare campaigns and signpost students. So Sophie is running for this. So are you all ready, Sophie?
Yeah, I'm all ready.
Excellent. In which case, off you go.
Oh, I'm just going to keep this short, to be honest. Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm currently a third year econ and poly major. I'm also currently your VP welfare. Well, the main reason for me running for this role is because due to COVID, there was a lot of things that I wanted to do that I couldn't. I was gonna last year, I was going to run a subsidized event, and we was all going to go Preston, go bowling, but sadly due to COVID, we couldn't do this. So, and I know that taking on VP welfare, just having all these handovers, just wouldn't be the best. So I decided to run for the smaller welfare officer role, and I want to continue being able to make students feel welcome, feel like they're listened to. My emails are always free, though I don't get many emails. Yeah, and I'd really just like to be part of the college and help out with the JCR, because I had a really fun time in second term or this term, even though we're a bit isolated.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, are you continuing?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I do have a few campaigns running up, just like a few ways to de-stress during COVID, maybe a bit of socially distanced events. Not events, sorry, socially distanced activities you could do. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Sophie. Has anyone got any questions for Sophie in mind? In which case you could just stick them in the chat, in the live Q&A. If not, I will think of a question quite quickly. No, that's okay, no problem at all. So my question to you, Sophie, obviously you've had experience in the JCR before. What do you think your most important contribution has been?
Well, I think my most important contribution so far assist the president during the selection of of the fresher reps, and just helped organize them during Freshers Week. It was a bit chaotic, I do apologize, but I have tried my best.
Great stuff. Has anyone else got any questions for Sophie? Okie dokie, then I will move on to the next position. Thank you very much, Sophie. Oh, this one's a bit of a busier one. So socials and events officer, their role is to sort of assist the VP with organizing socials events, you know, even come up with their own ideas as happened in the past. So we've got 3 nominees for this one. We've got Zach, Melissa and Mahi. Zach, are you ready to go live?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff.
Right, so hi everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Your studies are going well and everyone's keeping safe. My name's Zach. I'm currently your social officer this year, and I'm hoping to rerun. And as I said, like Sophie, I'm going to keep it short. I'm hoping to continue the events that was unfortunately cancelled again due to COVID, as we expect. Our extrav events I had plans. I've thoroughly enjoyed being part of the JCR since my first term of being here. I would love to continue to do so if I could have your vote. And I just can't wait to meet more of you and get more involved once we're all able and free to.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Zach.
Thank you.
Melissa, are you ready to go with this?
Yep, I'm all good. Hi,
excellent.
I'm Melissa and I'm running for the Socials and Events Officer position. I understand how much the pandemic's had an impact on socialising at uni. As a fresher, I was expecting to come to uni and be partying every night and making loads of friends for events and eating chips from Sultan's every single night until my student loan was blown and my pants no longer fit. But instead, we've kind of just been stuck in our accommodation or stood outside in the courtyard until the porters come in and break us up, which is kind of anxiety provoking and also an adrenaline rush. So, it's kind of great. However, I want to bring the social side of university back into the spotlight because we all deserve to at least have some fun at uni, seeing as we're paying 9k to stare at a screen and spin around on a spinny chair. Unless you don't have a spinny chair, then it kind of sucks to be you. Or you're at home and you just get to lie on the floor and contemplate life, which I'm kind of jealous of. But I'm aiming to make events as inclusive as possible. I want everyone to have a say in events that we do, so being really active on social media and doing weekly polls. I want to get as many people out of their comfort zone as possible. Before uni, I had social anxiety, so I know how daunting socialising can be, especially with lockdown. People have got really comfortable in their own company. But yeah, I really want to encourage people to get out of the comfort zones and get as involved as possible. I'm hoping to throw as many events as I can, whether that be online or in person, COVID dependent, drinking events, non-drinking events, so that everyone is catered for. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Melissa. And now finally we've got Mahi. Are you ready to go? Yep.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. Sorry, pressing too many buttons at once. There we go.
Okay. Hi guys, I am Mahi Mishra and I am a first year accounting and finance student. And it is very understandable if some of you think that, oh, she's just a first year student. She probably does not know how things are to be done. She's barely been here for a few months. But I can assure you guys that I have a lot of experience in managing and being a part of various events. Back in high school, I was the cultural captain for a year. So I know how much efforts and work goes into organizing events. And I'm pretty much sure that I have the enthusiasm and ideas for carrying out various events. Now, even though the entire COVID situation has made things pretty weird and difficult, I strongly believe that it shouldn't stop any of us in any sort of way. So I'm pretty sure that there are many new possibilities that are still unexplored. And I know there are many annual events that take place. And we are not sure if we will be able to do them this time because no one knows when things will get back to normal. But of course, there are many virtual events that I have in mind that I would definitely like to contribute to the JCR and make sure that things go pretty much as normal as possible. And I would definitely love to hear people's ideas as well and definitely do my best that we meet up the expectations of people and be as inclusive as possible. Ultimately, my priorities revolve around making it easy for things to be fun and also safe, and so that everyone is included and everyone enjoys their time here at university. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mahi. So if anyone has any questions, now's your opportunity to ask in the Q&A. Otherwise, I have a question for you all, which is probably a sort of question you expected because it's about COVID. So I'll ask this for now. So if restrictions continue and your job becomes not what you expect, because obviously socials is quite usually associated with more social in-person events, how would you continue to interact digitally with students and run digital events? So I'll start off with Zach.
Sure, yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's me being slow. There you go. Go for it.
Thank you. So, I mean, unfortunately, we are in the situation we're in, and hopefully we're out soon. But if it's the case that this continues, then perhaps we have things like festive feasts coming up, so we can do pick up and take away things. We tried during Halloween to pick up pumpkins and make an event of that, and we did do a costume sort of competition. So perhaps we can continue online things, and the limited things we could do. Perhaps we could do like an online presence of like a Discord channel of gaming. I mean, it's not necessarily like a gaming society, but you have like trends of Among Us and such at the moment. Perhaps we could explore, and just whatever the college community would be interested in. Perhaps we could work with the publicity and put up polls and see what sort of viewers' response would be. So I love sort of any of that.
Excellent. Thank you, Zach. Next up, Melissa, how would you answer that?
Yeah, I think we need to be really creative in our thinking. So maybe doing a lot of like Zoom and team calls, I guess. Maybe trying to get some of the lecturers involved, doing some like drinking never have I ever's. You never know. The law school staff, I've heard they're kind of big drinkers. We can get them in. But also doing stuff amongst your flats. So like scavenger hunts, just anything that we can do that's like COVID friendly, but a lot of online things, and just making sure everyone's staying safe and also having fun.
Excellent. Thank you, Melissa. And finally, Mahi, how would you deal with doing social events in this COVID world?
Well, as I said that there are many opportunities that are still unexplored. So I have a few in mind, such as probably virtual musical nights, or probably holding events that help people bring out their culture and share it with everyone, because we know our college is a very diverse one, and there are people of different cultural backgrounds that would probably come forward and will help people to socialize and find people of similar tastes, community, and things like that. And of course we will be holding polls and stuff to see what the people actually want. And as we know, wild people here love partying, so probably involve things that will help people in socializing and interacting with one another without being in the risk of catching the virus. Yeah, so that'll probably be it.
Excellent, thank you. Just a reminder with questions, make sure it's targeted to all the candidates rather than just one. If anyone has any questions, just post them in the live Q&A. Otherwise, I'll move on. I've had a couple, but unfortunately, since they're targeted at individuals, we need to focus on everyone at the same time. So what I'm going to do is move on to the next position if nobody else has any other questions. Okie dokie, what have we got next? It's a surprise to me too. Okay, so VP Socials is up next. Laura, are you ready to talk?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent. Got your camera on. There we go. Sorry, I'm still trying to work out how to do everything. There we go.
Can I go? Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
Hi guys, I'm Laura. I'm 22 and I'm a final year marketing student. I'm already the Vice President Socials for Fylde already, and I want the chance to rerun because I'd like to deliver an extra. Because last year obviously it was cancelled due to COVID. And I'd like to continue my work with the current socials, obviously hoping Zach might get re-elected and then new member, to hold some inclusive and enjoyable events. I'm the best and only candidate for VP Socials because after having 2 years on the JCR, I'm confident in organising and hosting events, and I've already had a taste for preparing for an extra both in my first year and my second year. I've got the experience within different JCR teams, so I'm confident that I can already work with the next one. And I'm already aware of the commitment that the JCR requires. I've gained a wealth of experience in assisting and organising to prepare for college events such as Extra, Refreshers Week, and then Freshers Week this year and last year. And then in my role as VP and Socials, I've organised and hosted a regular fortnightly pub quiz. And I've gained valuable experience communicating with different people in the college and on the JCR and LUSU, and I've got quite a good network already in place to sort of plan the events in the future. I've also gained an insight into how the college and the JCR already works. In terms of Extra, after assisting and planning it in my first year, I already understand sort of what happens and what makes a good or bad event and how it all should sort of run on the evening. And then last year, I basically have the event already planned out, and I want to pick up my ideas again this year to hopefully deliver it. And I want to make sure that Extra is the best event it can be and a highlight of the year. Finally, I believe that I've got the experience and drive to not only deliver the greatest Extra, but to work throughout the year with the rest of the socials team to advance on the progress we've already made and boost attendance and buzz around Fylde College events. I'd like to possibly do more collaborations with other colleges, creating larger events and encouraging our members to cross-network. You should vote for me because I'm equipped with the skills and experience to work well within the JCR and socials team, and I'll make sure that we have the best Extra and plan the winter ball for next year. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Laura. So, as usual, does anyone have any questions for Laura? If you do, post them in the live Q&A. My question to you, Laura, was going to be very similar to essentially what the other socials officers were asked. So, how would you adapt any events? You know, we're still in a very unknown situation, unfortunately. So, how would you adapt events and do events in a COVID safe way?
Can I go?
Yeah, go for it.
I think the main thing is sort of doing more live stream sort of events. Obviously, my main focus would be sort of Extra. So if sort of Extra can't happen in person, I'd like to think that we could still do it in some capacity online, where we've got like bands that would sort of live stream or pre-record like a set that we could stream for them. We could get businesses involved for like little giveaways. And I think we did a thing in Freshers this year where we had like a mocktail making kit. We could do something like that and sort of have more sort of competitions, I think, in the college, and do more virtual live streaming things to try and get people involved that way.
All right, fab stuff. Thank you, Laura. I have just got another question from you from the live Q&A here, so I'll leave you up for now. Question from Laura: what sort of themed events will you host?
I'm not sure whether that refers to Extra or just general themed events. I'm not 100% sure what sort of themed events I'd like to post. I'd probably do a few more sort of pub quizzes and try and do those with more of a theme focused on them. So sort of focusing more about like cultural events, and maybe do like a Valentine's themed event. We didn't do that last year. And maybe like St. Patrick's Day, sort of focusing on the big sort of calendar events in the year. And yeah, I'm open to suggestions for what people might have in mind.
Excellent. Thank you, Laura. Has anyone else got any more questions for Laura before I let her go and move on to the final role? No, in which case I will move on to the final nomination. President. We have one candidate running for president. This is Kira. Kira, are you ready to go live? So obviously the president's job is to sort of, run the JCR. You ready?
Yep.
Excellent. Go for it.
Cool. So my name's Kira. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a second year physics student running to be your JCR president this year. I've been on the college exec for the past year as a welfare officer, and I've seen how much good a well-led JCR can do. And I think that I'm the right person to take over from Erin, who's done a wonderful job in being your president for the next year. I'm well-versed in the issues surrounding Fylde students because of my experience. And so if you make me your president, I will do everything I can to represent you at a student union level. I already know how JCR works, which means that I'm a college as well. So it means I've got a good advantage. And I can hit the ground running as your president and start making improvements straight away. So I've run campaigns in the past, both within the college in my role as a welfare officer and also at home. So in the college, I did a food awareness campaign. That included a Blue and New session that was themed around the issues, and then also more recently a housing campaign specifically targeted at freshers who are looking to buy rent their first houses, and just to raise awareness of their rights as tenants. And then I've also got experience in leadership positions. So I'm in the Ag Cadets, and I've got a leadership position there, and I look after 40 cadets and organise parade nights and events outside of that as well. So this year, I've got a few plans for the college and what I want to do with JCR. Most notably, I want to do a self-care day in Freshers Week, which was one of the things that I wanted to do as welfare officer, but didn't get the chance to because of COVID. But as president, one of my responsibilities is planning that week, and so it gives me a great opportunity to include that within the plans alongside other events to welcome new students to Fylde. And then also I want to implement a safe taxi scheme, which is similar to what universities at Cardiff and Sheffield have got. So it'll provide people with the means to get home safely after a night out if they find themselves unable to. And yeah, so if you want a college president with experience and ideas for the next year, then please do consider voting for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Kira. So, as usual, if anyone has any questions for Kira at all, now's your chance using the Q&A function. I have one question in mind. It's a little bit abstract, this one, I'm afraid. So, what do you think your biggest challenge will be as president, and how will you overcome this? Ready when you are.
Something that we've seen a lot. No, it's something that we've seen a lot this year, specifically this term, is interaction with the college by the students. So we've run events and Brewing You and even social media has seen quite poor interaction in the past term, probably mostly because of COVID, but also maybe other reasons. So I'd like to really get to the bottom of why that is and then fix it. And then hopefully with some better engagement, then our events can get bigger and better. And yeah, we can just have a better college.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kira. Does anyone else have any more questions for Kira? I'll wait a few seconds. Okie dokie.
Erin's asked one. Erin's asked one.
Erin's asked one. Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on all these chats at the same time. It's proving rather difficult. Sorry, Erin, what was your question?
It's what's the first thing you'd like to do as president?
Okie dokie, go for it, Kira.
So the thing that came round so quickly last year, it was actually in the first week of term, we'd just go back to uni and it was like, oh, it's Refreshers Week. So yeah, it was a bit rushed, I think, last year because none of us had time to get into the swing of our roles. We didn't know what was expected of us, and we were all quite new on the JCR as well. So I think this year it'll very much be my priority as soon as I'm elected, if I am, that Refreshers Week will start getting planned because yeah, we need as much time as possible for that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any other questions? Okie dokie. Well then, so that's it then. Thank you very much for everyone who's attended the Fylde College Hustings tonight. The video will be uploaded at some point. Please remember that voting opens tomorrow at 9 AM and closes at Friday at 4 PM. I'd just like to thank all our candidates for a really good presentation, and I wish you all the best in the rest of your campaigning. If anyone has any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me an email, and thank you very much for listening. See you later.